Hello Internet, and welcome to my channel. Good afternoon, good morning and good evening wherever you are on the planet. This is a review of the SJCAM SJ7 STAR. I bought this camera because I've seen many of the people I follow on YouTube and that are RC modelers or enthusiasts. They use this camera, and so I was like very much into it and tried to get one myself until I found a good price for it on Banggood.com. Is this camera a GoPro killer? How many people describe it as such? I don't know. I leave it up to you to actually decide that. Frankly, I think it's a different camera than the GoPro. I think under certain aspects is a better camera than the GoPro, and that's it. That's all I can tell you. I leave it up to you once you finish to see or listen to this review. If to decide to get an SJ7 STAR on top of your GoPro or instead of a GoPro. The SJ7 STAR comes for about £150, which is about $170, $160, and it is very approachable. But enough of the differences. I can tell you now some of the specification and you can make up your mind. It has a 12.4 megapixel Sony IMX117 CMOS sensor, which is quite a very big sensor. Has a battery of 1000 mAh, which is removable, so it can be like also changed. So you don't go like practically having to buy a new camera if the battery goes bonky on you. It has storage capacity up to 128 GB through a micro SD card, category 10, sorry. It has a mini USB, it has an HDMI output, and it has Wi-Fi, and those are the connections inside your camera. Through the Wi-Fi you can operate with an app and a smartphone, and you have access to the whole menu of the camera. You can actually shoot or not, and it works wonders. It's a great app, and I put it on my phone and I did get some real good shots out of it. Through the mini USB cable you can even attach an external microphone, something that a GoPro doesn't have. An FPV cable, something that if you have a GoPro you have to build yourself. And like, you know, which you can find on the different sites that sell SJCAM. You can buy an FB cable, it's not very expensive, and an FPV cable, and you can actually use the camera and successfully for FPV and record at the same time. What else? It has an Umbrella A12 chipset, which is one of the latest chipset for action cameras. It has a very nice touch screen, and it comes with a gyro. Oh my god, it has a gyro, so for stabilization. We'll talk about the gyro later on because it doesn't work with all the resolutions, and to me it's a bit of a con. And it has a native 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. Here we go. So that's enough. If you want more specification you can find them in the link down here. I put you the link of the camera itself. I took some footage of it with a multi-rotor, and I took some footage of it with my faithful Radian, which is a glider and doesn't vibrate a lot, so you can see how good it is with it, and I will comment to it. Let's have a look at it. This is the footage. The first footage is at 4K at 30 frames per second. As you can see, it was a day where there was like fog lifting up, and so the clouds were 120 meters high. That's per my Vario, and so I could fly above the clouds. And you can see at 4K, I mean, like the details are almost perfect. I mean, like, probably now all you can see is just like fog, but you can see all the different type of fog. You can see actually a well-defined fog, and the sky is exceptional. It's very nice. Once you get, I will glide down on under the actual clouds. You can start to see the foliage, and the details are incredible. Another thing which is incredible is that how well this camera handles the actual sunlight. There are some moments where the camera is pointing at the sun, and you can see all the rest of the details properly. Like, for example, now above the trees, you can still see the trees even though it's pointing at the sun, and there is a lot of glare. I mean, like, the fog creates, like, it's like having a lot of mirror reflecting. All these little drops are reflecting light. Incredible. And they take the sensor up to to its limit, I was saying. I'm sorry about a bit of jello. Sometimes I have to get the motor going, but it was definitely, I was mostly satisfied by this camera and the way it works. Look at that now, totally against the sun, glare at the bottom, glare at the top, and you can still see the fog. Wow, yeah, I mean, like, the best you can. I mean, like, but look, at 4K the ground is just unreal. You can see also the tracks from the tractors, and you can see all the delimitation of the runway very well. And here we go, nice successful landing. Look at the grass, it's really good, it's really well, I mean, the white balance is great. Now, this is another take at 180p, 60 frames per second, and I think for actual multi-rotor and for actual, like, aerial takes, this is the best usage for this kind of camera. It does handle the light really well, even though, I mean, all that glare was just like way out of proportion with all this fog. Unreal. Let's see, let's go forward to a point where actually I get out of the sun. Sorry about that. Slowly. This was taken out of the enclosure. Actually, the camera was not out in the elements, but was in its own hermetic enclosure. So we're coming below the clouds now, and look at the contour of the actual fields. They are really nice. You can see the grass at the end of the field, and you can see the grain which has not been cut is still sticking out of the field. Also at speed, it works very well. You can distinguish everything. It's not a blur. Yeah, I'm pretty much chuffed with this camera, and I think it's a very good rival of the GoPro. If you look at it, look at the definition now of the trees. They're really good, and the colors are very well managed. At the same time, it's all on automatic, by the way, so nothing was touched. All right, and another successful landing.